Mass adoption hasn't actually even happened yet.
Mass adoption is around the corner.
Mass adoption means real people around the world utilizing this technology.
In the bear market, it's when building happens.
We are in a bear market right now, and it also means that there's tremendous opportunity.
If you can't do it yourself, you can't make it happen yourself, and you don't show up, it's never going to happen.
I'm Baron Davis. I'm the founder of More Than Us. More Than Us is a Web3 maker studio where we represent designers, engineers, meta architects, and talent. We create IP as a collective and think about utility and community as one ecosystem. We're here today, LA Blockchain. Our panel was about innovation. It was a fireside chat and an opportunity for me to really now start to talk about MTU in a public setting and really just dive into sports, lifestyle, culture, media, diversity, and all the opportunities that we're gonna see and we're seeing now in Web3. I think the way we pick is we allow hosts, co-hosts, and committees. And so people are always nominating people, on the platform or nominating projects. And so, we rely, once again on our internal collective, our collective members of MTU to really, kind of vet, invest, into these ideas. But we spend a lot of time, taking time to look at every project. And so we're always around. We go to these conferences, we have our pop-ups, our think and greets, because we don't want to miss out. I would say the overall goal is to really build our own marketplace that allows us to pick, the right projects, the right people, and be able to have the ecosystem market them as you would like an old school like record label or something. There are a ton of creators that are not being seen. There are a ton of people of color, there are a ton of women, and when you think about where we are in a society and the battles that we have to fight, as I was diving into Web3, I was like, oh, these are solutions now, that we can come up with. And so I just start really just rabbit holing on all the different, problems that were existing in real world and thinking, how can you create technology, ecosystem, utility that can help fix or remedy some of these problems. I'm just super excited about how the creator can actually be the initial owner of their IP, right? And then allow executives, investors, and people like that in.
My name is Alon Goren. I'm one of the founders of Draper Goren Holm. Draper Goren Holm is our, like I said, it's our venture studio. The name Draper comes from Tim Draper. He's a legendary venture capitalist, and Joseph Holm, my partner, and my name is Alon Goren. We are serial entrepreneurs who just fell in love with the blockchain space and who decided that this is where we wanted to be. And over time, the access and opportunities we got from our amazing conferences built a really amazing portfolio of companies in the space, and from entrepreneurship kind of became investors and helped incubate and accelerate some of these companies. So years ago, Joseph and I were meeting each other at conferences, and we were in the crowdfunding space, and every single time we'd hang out at a conference, we thought it was fun because we got to hang with each other, but we never got to meet any of the companies who were raising money online or fundraising. We never got to meet any of the investors who were investing in them. So we decided to create a conference where those people could actually meet. And that was the first iteration of our conference, Crowd Invest Summit. Very quickly, the crowdfunding world became the crypto world, especially in 2017 when all the crowd sales started happening. We started seeing real crowdfunding happening on the internet in the form of token offerings and things like that, and that's when things kind of took off. For us, the reason to be in the crowdfunding world was this idea of democratizing capital, making it available for anyone to raise money on the internet for anything they wanted to do. And so crypto was the first real use of that, where people could, no matter where in the world, could raise money from anyone around the world. didn't matter if you were wealthy, it didn't matter if you were poor, it didn't matter if you were an accredited investor according to the laws of what the SEC or the government says. Everyone was participating, and everyone could participate. And to us, that meant freedom, and that's what we're very, very excited about. I think mass adoption means, real people around the world utilizing this technology, and the more people that use it, the more people are empowered to utilize it, not just for, pictures of monkeys or whatever, but it goes from that into much more, dynamic use cases that will perpetuate what we were talking about, perpetuate freedom, right? And then make it so that people around the world have access to things that, they might not have access to today. For us, we're really early stage investors, so people always say it's the team. For us, it really is the team. It has to be the team, and they have to be going after something that needs to change, something that needs to be addressed. And with the conference, we get to spend time with those entrepreneurs, and so it's really, really helpful. But we just want to see entrepreneurs that will not give up no matter which direction the market is going. And this industry is full of those kind of people, so it's fun to kind of be here and see that. So we're crazy early, and you have to be attacking something that's long term too. This isn't, we're not here to flip a token or, make a quick buck. I think the biggest key to success in what I'm seeing in our portfolio companies, and what I hope is part of, what ultimately is successful for us, is, showing up, literally participating, being a part of the community, and absolutely never giving up no matter what obstacles are there, right? So we get into a bear market like today, and companies who thought raising money was super easy all of a sudden don't have access to as much money, or it's not so easy, and they have to run a lean ship. And if you can't do it yourself, you can't make it happen yourself, and you don't show up, it's just never going to happen. And for us, Joseph and I have had to go through those roller coaster rides, and the constant is always showing up and always doing it ourselves. Like, I literally said to somebody yesterday, they're like, oh my God, you're doing this yourself, because I was like putting together a booth or doing something because nobody else was around to do it. And I joked, I said DIY or die, but that's literally, we would say that as punk rockers growing up, but that's literally what it is, right? If you can't do it yourself, how are you ever going to do it? To those who don't believe this is happening, you just have to look around, right? There are millions of entrepreneurs and engineers and participants around the world participating in this system in the same way that they were participating in the early days of the internet, where people were laughing at anyone who said, you're gonna buy shoes on the internet, you're gonna buy books on the internet, you're gonna buy your next car on the internet. People laugh. You're gonna watch movies on the internet. What a ridiculous statement that you would watch these pixelated movies on the internet. But that's all we do today, right? And it would be, nobody talks about launching an internet company now. It's literally just, you're launching a company. Of course you're on the internet, because that's where you have to be, because that's where everyone is. And that's how the blockchain space will evolve. Today, it's weird. Today, it's a feature or a thing that's attached to a business. But in the future, it's just gonna be a part of every business.
My name is Amyli McDaniel, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of MINTangible. MINTangible is a Web3 company. We digitally bind intellectual property and royalty rights to NFTs, transforming them into assets of actual value. The problem we're solving is that NFTs are missing rights. And so when people are buying NFTs, they think they're buying rights to use them for certain reasons, and learning that they're merely buying a digital token on the blockchain. So this infrastructure is absolutely required to transform tokens into digital assets. So I'm an IP lawyer by profession, and I've been innovating when it comes to intellectual property through prior stages of digital innovation, such as ebooks and open source. When I saw NFTs a couple years ago, I knew that it would offer this opportunity to democratize the opportunity of rights and IP monetization. And I went all in and started designing what we believe will be the rights protocol for all of Web3. So I've been building startups for over a decade. And I've been in several different startups, really again focusing on digital innovation. So I was in ebooks, I was in open source, I was in social media, and I got into this space 2 years ago as a founder by founding MINTangible when I saw this opportunity. but I was in crypto as an investor for a couple of years before that. I think mass adoption is super important because I do believe that Web3 offers the ability to be more inclusive, more democratized, and it actually creates incentives for everybody from, regardless of where you are located in the world or what you do, to participate for the first time. Because I think, and traditionally in Web 2, the benefits all sort of went to more centralized companies and governments and platforms. And this really is the first time there's an opportunity for everyone to participate. I have been through all of the earlier stages of innovation, and so I've seen this before. I actually think this cycle is where the builders are really building and really putting in the thought that is required to move this to the mainstream. So when the NFT and blockchain is merely a technology, but the neat thing is it actually enables and fuels not just economic incentives, but psychological and emotional ones that affect culture and human behavior. And so I like this bear market. I've seen it before. And I think when we come out of this, we actually get past sort of that early stage where, there's a lot of speculation that sort of kind of fades away.
My name is Jon Farjo. I'm co-founder and chief product officer of LunarCrush. LunarCrush captures the pulse of the community around cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and stocks. We wanted to have some authenticity and really give a face to the data. Data itself doesn't have much of a personality on its own, and we wanted to really help the community interpret the data because still today, the community doesn't really understand the power of of social data. They might be used to looking at price. They might be used to looking at market cap. These are very traditional, in a sense, outdated metrics to be staring at for cryptocurrencies. And we wanted to make sure that we could really help interpret the data and really give a voice to a lot of these projects out there. Mass adoption hasn't actually even happened yet. I think we're living in this space where everyone's excited about the future, and there's a lot of variables there, whether it be regulation or technology adoption or the number of people that actually have a crypto wallet. You've seen a lot of progress from NFTs, so we know the potential's there. A few years ago, that didn't exist. And so I think what's exciting now is the addressable audience for everyone building in crypto is actually starting to be there. In the past, it was not. It was a pipe dream. There were a lot of tokens launching with big ideas that had no audience. And so I think we're getting to this point of where you can actually finally get started building in this space. And it's an exciting time. We're here to spread the value of LunarCrush and what it can do for everyone. We're more than happy to see people go from just staring at market cap to having a much more well-rounded view of the crypto market and of NFTs and of stocks. For far too long, we've only stared at price, and I think the outcome of that is it causes people to actually lose a lot of money, to overtrade, to have short-term thinking, versus following something and being part of something and growing with it over time, and being part of that community and building utility and value to that community. And we hope that we play a kind of a special part in that. You might be scared right now thinking, is Bitcoin gonna drop further? How about Ethereum? How about Solana? You might think of all these things because it's like short term. But what we see is record social activity in the community still today. The number of individuals talking about crypto is accelerating. And so even in a down market. And so I would say, if you're looking at market cap alone, you would never know that. The new approach with what we're doing is, what is everyone collectively doing? And how can we portray what the most important thing that they all should know about it is? And it's not our opinion. And so we could write lots of articles on our data, but actually others write articles on our data on their own. They just do it. But we stay away from opinion-based data. We just literally show the facts. And I think that's tremendously important.
My name is Manuela Seve. I'm the founder and CEO of Alpha-A.io. We're an enterprise SaaS solution that solves for three main problems: authenticity, resale, and community building through Web3 tools. I started my career in finance, and I was always kind of very interested in market efficiency, and the art market was maybe one of the most inefficient markets at the time. So in 2015, while running a art licensing business, I picked up a book called Blockchain for Dummies started reading it and realized that this was going to be huge for all collectibles, not just art. So in 2017, we actually started coding what is now the Alpha IO API, which is used in a lot of different use cases, from sports loyalty, where we're launching a platform for the Milwaukee Bucks, to CPG with our clients Ape Water, to some really big luxury brands that I cannot announce just yet. In the art market, there's a massive issue of authenticity and provenance. So, we were already kind of like trying to figure out mechanisms to prove that, one, something actually was created by that artist. So, authenticity, chain of custody, and all of that. And the other point is there's a massive income inequality in the creative market, meaning that once something leaves an artist or, a musician, they really don't see any more of that, leading to kind of like a skewed compensation model. So, when we started looking at blockchain, we knew that we could immediately solve those two problems. Authenticity could be proven, from the beginning, because you would always have the issuer of that NFT, which we see NFTs, by the way, as digital receipts. We don't necessarily see them as, standalones. We see them as something that can represent anything. So that's why they're extremely powerful. But the NFT itself, being issued by the creator, proves authenticity without a doubt. In my view, there's a lot that needs to be done for mass adoption, but information is number one, and that's why we also have content platforms, and we record every single event that we speak at, because it's so important that we put that into the main market and that people understand what is happening in these conferences. What are we talking about? And make it really easy. Talk about it in layman's terms, and create interfaces that feel just like Web 2, but have a very powerful Web 3 engine running behind the scenes. We are in a bear market right now, and it also means that there's tremendous opportunity. For me as a founder, it has been way easier to hire. It's been way easier to develop. There's always going to be skeptics that are denying a new technology. But this technology is not going anywhere. It's already getting adopted by a lot of major Fortune 500 corporations. It's going to change the way that you own absolutely everything, and you can keep denying it, but they denied the internet. They also thought the dot-com bubble meant that this was a passing moment. But there's a lot of interesting things that happen during bubbles. A lot of money is drawn to innovation. The amount of fiber that we put down during the dot-com bubble made it possible for us to have 5G nowadays. Nobody talks about that. And we're living a very similar moment where, we're about to tip.
My name's Kemper. I'm with RAZE Finance. We have developed the world's first NFT minting platform for security NFTs, and we also support the minting of utility NFTs like memberships and other kind of access NFTs. So a security NFT is like an equity or a revenue share. It's like a stock. It's something that you purchase that you expect to go up in value. And in the world of crypto, we hear a lot of the words utility and security. And securities is an enormous industry. And what we've done is we found a way to make it a compliant NFT to represent a security. So what does that mean? It means that you can invest in a company in like 5 minutes using crypto and have an NFT as a receipt or as representation or proof of investment in the project. And then that NFT will also provide additional utility by being able to do things like voting and receive payouts or dividends and things like that. So I got into this space in 2013. I was working at a restaurant as a server, and someone came in and started talking all about Bitcoin, and I'd been watching and looking for it, and I had that light bulb moment, and since then I've never looked back. I've potentially set up more people with wallets than, I don't know, maybe anyone. Of actually showing people how it works and helping others achieve their light bulb moment where they realize that, this isn't just a number go up kind of thing. This is about creating an alternative parallel system that can free us from the chains of mass centralization. And we're right now in this transition from massive centralized institutions to a decentralized, trustless future. My passion for this came from seeking justice a little bit towards a lot of the very in plain sight crimes that have been committed against humanity on many different levels, and the root of it lying in the financial system and the way that money is created and managed and issued. And so when I saw Bitcoin, it represented to me, at least, as like a scalpel towards that cancer. And now we've seen, like, from Bitcoin in 2013 to Ethereum to NFTs to DeFi to DAOs, the industry has become far more mature, and the foundations and the technology are growing stronger and stronger, and the adoption is honestly, it's happening at a very rapid pace. It might not seem that way to many, but it's coming. I think a lot of people don't really understand, like, you know, how easy it is to like send Bitcoin or Dogecoin, but they will. You're gonna get it. It's like an email. It's like people are still studying it, trying to figure out, like, you know, you didn't study email. We're like, how does it work? No, you received an email or sent an email, like, okay, that was awesome. And the same thing happens with the crypto. You can study it forever, but until you actually receive some and send some, you don't truly understand. We go through these cycles. So like right now we're in a bear market. And what does that mean? It means number down. When the price was at 60,000, like everyone was like, oh, I wish I bought it at 20,000. And now it's at 20,000, everyone's like, oh, like freaked out. It's like, it's just funny the way that human psychology works. But in these times, when it's down in the bear market, it's when building happens. It's when great projects are built that create the foundation for the next bull market.
My name is Sideman, and I'm the CEO of RevelXYZ. We're a social collectibles platform. So if you think about it, Web3 is introducing a new value proposition for users everywhere, which is to have a stake in their own network, in the network of other people. And so we're bringing that to the masses through the ability to create your own personal collectibles and for your friends and people that follow you to collect them. My background is in consumer media and building networks at scale. I co-founded the world's first online karaoke, which was sold to Fox MySpace at the height of MySpace. I founded YouNow live streaming, which grew to 120 million user sessions a month. And so that's my background. And in the past 5 years, I've been in blockchain, and now, you know, combining the passion towards user self-expression, the experience from that side, with the blockchain knowledge, and you know, it's a great historical opportunity. I think that mass adoption is around the corner. I think what we've seen just in the past week with Reddit, where they're onboarding like 2.5 or 3 million people into owning NFTs, is, you know, sort of a sign of things to come. And now the question is, what is the utility and what is the value of these NFTs for these 3 million people, and why are they going to tell their friends, and why is this going to, you know, be important in their life as part of their digital diet? I think, you know, what happened with Reddit is a start, and we're going to see more and more utility built around that. What's going to move the industry forward is bringing, you know, the next tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people from Web 2, and that's going to happen, you know, by providing them great Web3 value proposition through Web 2 distribution channels and using Web 2 good user experience. The bear market is not that bad. All it did is it cooled down a bunch of the speculation, and, you know, started to focus more and more on, you know, utility and building stuff that people actually want to use. And, you know, I think what has happened is, you know, a lot of investor money came in order to, you know, build in the Web3 tooling space. That is now there, and now it's time to build in the application layer to bring regular Web 2 users into this experience. And I think that the the down market, the bear market, has exposed that.